temple enough, but does get captured by the Galactic Alliance and frozen in carbonite, just like her brother, which does not make the Horns very happy. Luke and Ben go to see the Auntie Monks. This is from the Darkstrider campaign. I remember at this point, I had read a bunch of Weston Games material by the time I'd gotten to Fate of the Jedi and was absolutely loving all the references that I would have missed. Now, do you have to read the Weston Games stuff to get this? No, you really don't. But it is really cool because this is where Ben learns to flow walk, and Luke suspects why, and it's because he wants to see if he can change Jason. And he goes back in the past. This is toward the end here. This is whole Luke and Ben story, which is really good. Because the Auntie, when Luke is trying to establish contact with him, they lick his face, which I think is funny because they can't speak English. And this is all covered in the Darkstarter campaign. I remember this very well. They show the spiders that when you, if you have the Force in you, you'll hallucinate spiders, red spiders on top of that. And so Christy Golden does a great job pulling everything from the Weston Games material and putting it into the adventure, which I thought was very good. In fact, to be honest, I thought this was written by Troy Denning. I thought Troy Denning was the one who had taken Luke and Ben to the Auntie Monks, but I was incorrect there. I just forgot who the author was. But Ben does get to flow walk. He sees Jason when he was studying with the Auntie Monks, and then just, Jason is making up the wrong, he's taking the wrong path that would lead him to the dark side. He's not dark yet. But Ben also knows that there's no way to save Jason. Even flow walking would be ridiculous. So he learns the lesson that Luke was hoping he would learn. And it's a very good story. The two of them together really nice. Luke finds the Codex, which is an adventure that you're trying to do in the Weston Games adventure. You're trying to get the Codex, and it's going to play a role. The Auntie Monks tell you this in the adventure, something in the future. And I thought it was so cool that now Luke is the one who it plays a role in. When he grabs the Codex, his Force ability is enhanced greatly, so much so that the Lost Tribe of the Sith who are in this, they know about him. They feel his presence in the Force. Well, Luke sees that something is wrong in the mall, so that's where they need to go next because something is off there, and that's where they need to go. But that still is my favorite part of this book is the Luke and Ben story. It's just so good. And I'll be honest, there's a lot of good. When you go to Han and Leia's story, Han and Leia go visit a livestock exhibit. They're trying to give Alana something normal to do. And of course, this is where, not yet, she hints at it at the end, that she's going to get a baby Nexu as a pet, something they were not expecting. There's a lot of good comical moments here. Han is written really well. There's a lot of good. I can see Harrison Ford as Han Solo doing these facial reactions and making these faces and making these comments to Leia, to Jaina, to Alana. And I should have said this for the first one too, but he and Leia are written extremely well. Like they feel like characters from the original trilogy. And again, that's why the expanded universe is so great, because they got the characters from the movie right. Kenneth Hamner's having trouble, of course, trying to keep the Jedi together. Right now, a few Jedi, Jaina, Master Stilgal, and a few others, snuck Seth Heflin, or whatever his last name is, another crazed Jedi into the temple. Unfortunately, they got found out by Dala, and of course, Kenneth Hamner finds out there's a little bit of a schism in his Jedi Order already, and he's in a rock and a hard place. He's trying to do the right thing by both Admiral Dala, the Galactic Alliance, and the Jedi Order, but it's a fine line to walk, and he's realizing how difficult everything is, and it's going to just get even worse as the books go on. I remember, but. Dala, of course, makes a deal with them and this is great. They put a lot of real life stuff in there. There's reporters who are hounding down Jedi, trying to get great stories, in the last book, they talked about, the Jedi are going to put a Jedi consultant onto to watch over a movie being made about the Jedi, maybe to get some good publicity. And of course, Kip Duran volunteers for it. And Kenneth Hamner goes, "Thank you, Kip. You just got me 50 credits. And Cal Sasal, you're sitting there going, "Oh," because he didn't think Kip would do it. But Kenneth said, "Oh, yeah, he's the one that's going to volunteer for this." That was in Aaron Alston's book, which I thought was really funny. But that sense of realism and, the reporters in today's world really just it hits more like the real world that we live in. And so I enjoyed it that Jaina and Kenneth and a few others had to do a interview, to kind of smooth over their relationship with the Galactic Alliance and Dala. That was one of Dala's demands, was really good. Now, the whole time Vistari is getting some action here. We're hearing about her and the Lost Tribe of the Sith 2 years before these events happen. And then at the end, we hear where they are now. This is from John Jackson Miller's Lost Tribe of the Sith. Remember, these things came out very quickly together. But chronologically, if you're reading this, this is another reason why you probably shouldn't read chronologically the first time through. You've forgotten a lot about the Lost Tribe of the Sith. In fact, their ship was named Omen, which is the name of the title of the book, and which I had forgotten, to be honest. I'd even forgotten. So it talks about how this tribe is now finally getting off the planet, and they're about to wreak havoc in the galaxy thanks to Ship, the Sith training ship, which I still don't like. I still don't like it. And her story's okay. It's how she's becoming a Sith. She becomes an apprentice. She gets a lightsaber, and then some of the short stories that I talked about earlier take place. One in particular, one from Star Wars Insider, takes place in between that time, but chronologically, all this happened 2 years ago. So either way, though, it's fine because you're just introducing what one, not the big baddie is going to be, but one of the villains are going to be for the plot of the storyline. Other than that, the only thing else at the end that I'd forgotten about, now I know completely what's going to happen, but it is in this book. At the very end, they arrest Tahiri for the murder of Pelion and treason and whatnot. And I remember this happening, but not this early. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I remember what happens next, but I was like, oh, we're already going with this, because I thought this was like perhaps the middle act, books 4, 5, and 6 dealt with this. But Tahiri, and maybe they still do, but Tahiri gets arrested at the very end of the book, and it's game on from there. So overall, I'm remembering good bits of this, and I'm enjoying it so far. It's all set up. Christy Golden in this book really does a good job. So can't wait to get to book 3 next time.